Hi, this is Sophia. Welcome to Sophie's Soaps and Such. This evening I'm making a loaf of soap from pieces of soap that I have cut off from the ends of loaves of soap that I made previously. Those soaps look like this, little thin pieces, slivers of soap, like that. And then I also have little small pieces of soap like that. I have a bowl full, and so I will be up a little while melting down this batch of soap. Now what you will need in order to rebatch your soap is your equipment would be a mold of your choice, whether it's a cake pan or whether it's like this, which is a restaurant kind of plastic container, or muffin tin, or whatever you want to use. So you'll need your mold, most important. Then you'll need your utensils. Here is a spatula, and I have soap written on it, and then there's my wooden spoon, have soap written on it. I make sure that I keep my soap utensils separate from my food utensils. It is paramount that you do not mix the two, and you keep your soap equipment just out of the reach of children and away from other people who would make a mistake and use them while they're cooking. So my family knows that I make soap. My soap utensils and things are labeled, so please label your equipment. Also, I have little plastic measuring bowls here, and I usually, when I'm adding additives to my soaps, I pre-measure them, put them all in the glass bowls that I got from my favorite place to go. That's the Dollar Tree. You measured all of your ingredients, put them in the bowl, set them aside, grease your pan. Yes, I did say grease your pan. I use the olive oil and a napkin, just like I'm baking a cake or making cornbread. I put a little oil in the mold, and I take a paper towel and I just grease around the inside of the mold. So I do that, and then of course you pre-measure all of your liquids, whatever you're going to put in your soap. I also, before I get started cooking, I also to protect my counter, and today I have spread over my counter saran wrap, but generally I use butcher wrap or paper bags or something just to protect my counter. So now we're going to get started. I'm going to add these soaps to my double boiler. I forgot to tell you that. My double boiler, and the double boiler that I have here is just, it's nothing deep. It is just a big stock pot with a smaller stock pot on the inside. I usually put a brick inside the big pot that has water in it, and I set the pot on top of the brick, which is immersed into the water. That way it keeps your pot stable, but as you add ingredients, your pot gets heavier, and it kind of sits there. So that's what I do. You need your equipment will be your mold, your pot that you're going to cook your soap in, and you need to measure. You need your measuring utensils and your utensils for stirring. Now I use wooden spoons and spatulas. I also use wooden dowels, and you can get those from the craft store. Also for today, the loaf of soap that I am rebatching, since the soaps that I'm using are highly fragrant and have a lot of color. I'm not adding color, and I'm not adding fragrance today. The only two ingredients that I'm adding to this batch of soap is distilled water and olive oil, and I think I may have showed you the olive oil. This is what I have here. Now to this I am adding 1 cup of water and 1 cup of olive oil, but because I am making a large loaf of soap, I probably will wind up adding more. It just depends on you. The more water you add to your mixture, the longer it will take to cure or to dry. the more oil you add to it, the less suds or foaming your soap will do. So I'm trying to keep the oil and water to a minimum so that these soaps will foam very easily, or at least have a very thick and rich lather, which I know that they will because they started off that way. And it takes a while because the soap has to melt down. So what I'm going to do is to come back. As you can see, my pot is beginning to boil now. I'll just show you what the pot looks like, and the soap there, right there, and it's in there just boiling away. Just wanted to show you the process where the soap is melting down. You can see all the melted soap in there. And as I told you before, because all of my soaps had so many different colors, once you begin to melt all of the colors together, you no longer have color. It turns brown. Everything, all of the colors that come together, all of the colors that melt down together turns your mixture into a brown mixture. So I just wanted to share with you how this looks. Kind of looks like stew a little bit, but I just wanted you to see what it looks like as it's beginning to melt down. Be careful when you do your rebatch not to stir your soap too much, because it'll create suds, and I'm trying not to have a lot of suds in my soap. So just wanted to share with you how it looks. I will be back again once it melts down a little bit more. I think my pot is just about full. I don't believe I can add any more soap to it, and I'll show you the bowl now that I had originally with the soap in it. Those were the soaps, and so this is what I have on the rebatching soap. I'm just going to give you a quick look. I've added a little bit more water, and I'm just kind of doing it just a little bit at a time, pouring the water in as the soap begins to melt, not putting in too much, but keeping just enough to keep the bottom of the pot from scorching, or the soap from sticking to the pot. I'm going to show you what the soap soap looks like as it is beginning to melt. There, it is beginning to get soft, and you can see it there, and some of the water is in there. So as you can see, is just about melted. It's getting softer. I need to make it a little bit more liquid. I'm not going to add any more water at this point. I'm running out of room out of my pot, so I don't think I'll be adding any more soap as well. So just give it about maybe 30 minutes, if that long. May not even be 30 minutes, and it should be to the consistency that I'm looking for. So if you just stay tuned, you'll see me pour it into the mold, and then probably in about 2 days I will take it out, and then I'll add to this video what it's like after 2 days.